Chris Cuomo here. Welcome to NewsNation, where right and left come to be reasonable. So tonight, here is my message. You are right. Social media is not society. It is often dominated, too often, by magnified minorities that are obsessed with fringe issues. Yes, you're right. You who write and email and stop me on the street and text, I'm not sure how you get my cell number, but you do, and you are all right. What you see as this political dynamic not making sense, seeming like they're speaking another language, like you don't relate, you're right. You're right to feel removed. This is not normal. It is abnormal. We are dominated by divisive, extreme, fringe movements, and the conflict is growing. Why? Because it works for the two sides. It is a media and a political culture choosing to make the few dictate the fate of the many. That's why we see ICE agents running around communities, casting a way wider net than just bad hombres, and the reaction by the fringe against them on the left, right? Because the right on the extreme fringe is very pro-hostile policing, right? The other side is now not just protesting, which is their right, but they're trying to hurt ICE officers. They're trying to shoot ICE agents. These are extremists in our ranks. We need leaders, and really the leaders in our media, to get back to focusing on what the majority needs and wants. And rest assured, the majority in America is reasonable. For instance, immigration, right? Huge conflictual issue. Or is it? Most Americans believe there has to be a balance of securing the border and welcoming immigrants. The majority tilt in favor of mercy in that balance, not straight MAGA harshness. Only 32% say all illegal entrants should be deported. Now, that will be painted by the fringe as what? Open borders, open borders. It's not open borders. Only 70% believe, over 70% of us believe the border should be policed and the laws should be enforced. Nowhere near a majority wants anything like open borders. That is only for the AOC cuckoo crowd. 16% say no one should be deported. Okay? So we don't believe in the main that everyone should be deported or no one should be deported. We are reasonable. The fringes, however, dominate social media, but not society. Overall, we are reasonable and in agreement on the issue. It's just that our leaders are not informing themselves on what's best for us. A new Gallup poll found 8 in 10 of us say immigration is a good thing for the country. And it's not partisan. Majority Democrat, majority independent, majority Republicans. And by the way, of those three groups, only independents exist, right? Republicans have been consumed by MAGA, and Democrats have been consumed by the MAGA mirror, whatever they decide to call it. But when you look at every box, most in each box say immigration is good. And not because of white replacement, not because of anything sinister, but because it makes sense. In April, we had almost 7.5 million open jobs. In May, there were closer to 8 million open jobs. And unemployment is going down. We're at 4.1%. Some say we are close to or at full employment, meaning what? Open jobs, full employment, you need workers. And for all the talk of masks and overreach and intimidating and disrupting communities, and I know it is a real criticism, and I do think there is a philosophical problem with the message that Trump's ICE antics send about our country. But that is subjective. There is also a practical issue. This strict immigration enforcement is having a chilling effect, sending people leaving. And before you say, oh, good, good, that's shrinking the number of workers in this country. And last time I checked, people don't risk their lives and everything they have to try to sneak into this country to not work, okay? So they're here working. You get rid of them, you're going to have even more open jobs. Now, you could say, oh, so what? We'll absorb it. Really? We don't have the people. And guess what happens in that situation? upward pressure on wages, right? Because you got to fill the need for the supply. And what does that lead to? Higher prices, inflation. See, politically, this isn't what we were promised either. Trump said he was going to go after bad hombres, right? Blowing up all the cases of every time a migrant or an illegal entrant has killed or hurt somebody, right? Like they all do it, right? Bad hombres, go get them. But they should be felons, not people who run the corner grocery store, right? But that's what we've been seeing. Yesterday, ICE conducted a raid in full military gear at a California marijuana nursery. Like the least, like that's what you needed. Now we're hearing that this farm worker died during the raid. He fell from a building, something like 30 feet. Now, before we make any assumptions, I don't know why he fell. But it's like, did you have to go there? Did you find bad hombres? More and more, we see that the numbers they're getting, sometimes it seems to me like they're getting more citizens caught up in these efforts than they are, real high-profile bad guys that we've been looking for. But I got to tell you something. I'm criticizing the ICE practices, right, and the policy, but I will never think that this is okay. That these people on the far left fringe come and they want to hurt the ICE officers. You want to get their faces and get their identities so you can dox them and intimidate their family. You are silent or tacitly accepting the need for violence to change ICE's policies. Seriously? You really think that makes you better? Find Dr. King saying that. Find any of the people who fought the real fight in this country for suffrage in the 60s. What worked and what didn't? You sound like people who backed the Black Panthers, not the move for justice for blacks in this country. But this is where we are. This is crazy. So, here's my next point. The reason that we're seeing this, okay, is that the extreme is working too well for the media cycle and the political cycle. It's working too well. And we see this in now that it's a constant obsession for everybody in politics, no matter what their party is, right? So you can't, we have to agree on certain things. Who thinks that shooting at the ICE agents is okay because you hate what they're doing and they're hurting people in communities? Because I got to tell you, if we get anywhere near a majority thinking, yeah, I think that's what they should do, this is not America anymore. The democracy is dead. It's over. It's over. If you believe that injustice is the answer to injustice, it's over. It's over. And I'm not asking you to be Pollyanna. I'm not asking you to be soft. I think that we do need to knuckle up more in this country. I think we got to be more aggressive. We got to be more conflictual. That's what Let's Get After It is about. You want to have a problem, let's have the problem. Let's have it out. Let's respect the law. Let's respect decency. But let's get after it. Instead of talking about each other, talk to each other. But this, and these punks online, so many of them, educated and privileged, who are okay with this. That's the part I don't get. Why don't you get your asses out in the street if you're so hard, if you believe it so much, instead of just typing to me about why these are heroes on the street? That's why it bothers me that the leaders on the left are quiet about this. And the media is too. AOC, Bernie, Jeffries, you want to lead, speak up now and about this. And don't do it this way, like Governor Newsom saying the attacks on the ICE agents are wrong, but so was January 6th. Really? Where does this battle of which side is worse create a winner for the majority? You think this makes you a leader because you're like stiffening your spine? Come on, man. How crazy is it that people at the top of the FBI food chain, who are supposed to be focused on finding the people that are trying to hatch a terroristic murder plot against ICE agents, but what are we caught up with? Epstein. Why? Because the extreme and the fancy of the few dominates. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Epstein was made into a boogeyman. They made you believe someone killed him, and they made you believe that someone killed him because he has all these connections to the big and the powerful and the triumvirate and all the Illuminati and all the other craziness. And Trump courted that community. And now he's got to deal with them. And he's got people there. Bongino, I'm not surprised about these reports that Bongino, number 2 at the FBI, is thinking about leaving over this. He wants to go back to the fringe community of podcasting and being a provocateur. They'll kill him over this. Figuratively. God forbid anybody do anything to him. I actually met him not too long ago. Nice guy. He was nice to me. I was respectful to him. Anyway, the point is, I get it. I get why he's nervous about this. I get it. But is pleasing the conspiracy contingent more important than protecting ICE agents? Dan, this is not the time to quit. You don't quit over Epstein when you guys got to get to the bottom of who's trying to, kill ICE agents. You got to keep your perspective here. You know what I mean? Can't just be the level of gotcha all the time, right? I don't think so. AOC has had nothing to say about the attacks on the ICE agents. Can you believe that? But the Epstein fiasco gets her attention. You see what she posted today? Wow, who'd have thought that electing a rapist would have complicated the release of the Epstein files? Hope it goes viral, because that's all you're about. What have you ever done to fight for the release of the Epstein files? Huh? You sent out a few tweets over the years just to try to what? Ride the wave? Where are your resolutions? Where are your speeches on the floor? Where are your demands? Nothing. Just like the rest of your propaganda and your false promises. It's great for you for being developing a following, but it's not much in terms of being a leader when you get nothing done and you just play the game of advantage. You are no better than the people you think you oppose on the right. Or am I wrong about all of it? Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.